So, Obergefell versus Hodges. This is the case that redefined the legal definition of marriage in the United States. And you're going to learn all about it in today's episode. I'm Joshua Roberts, attorney at law, and you are watching Lawyer Up. In today's episode, we're going to continue our epic SCOTUS case series where we look at significant and epic Supreme Court cases. Today, we're taking a look at Obergefell versus Hodges. It's a decision back from 2015 that changed the way that we look at marriage legally in the United States. We're going to take a look at the parties. We're going to take a look at the facts of the case. We're going to look at the Supreme Court's decision and its reasoning. And then we're going to talk about why this case is epic. If you enjoy the episode, I'd ask you to smash that like button for me. If you got something to say, and this is a topic where people have a lot of opinions, put them down in the comment section below. Get a debate started down there. If you want to learn more about epic Supreme Court cases or legal topics in general, then I would ask you to subscribe to the channel. And if you got friends that would enjoy this type of material, I'd ask that you share this channel with them and on social media. Now, today we are coming to you from Greyson Roberts' studio, his podcast studio. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, I'd ask that you do that now because it's a great channel with great content, and we appreciate him allowing us to use his studio. So without further ado, let's talk about the Obergefell versus Hodges case from 2015. Now, let's talk about the parties first. James Obergefell was a man that was living in the state of Ohio. Rick Hodges, the defendant, is the director of the Ohio Department of Health, and that will be significant here in a minute when we get a little deeper into the facts. So, James Obergefell, he's a homosexual man living with his terminally ill partner, John, and they wanted to get married. However, as a resident of Ohio, same-sex marriages were illegal, so they could not get married in the state where they lived. So James and John, they go to Maryland, where same-sex marriages are legal, and they got married. So after that, they go back home. John ultimately passes away, and James demands that the state of Ohio put his name on the death certificate as the surviving spouse. Well, the Department of Health says, well, we're not going to do that because we don't recognize same-sex marriages in Ohio, and so we have a lawsuit. It's between James Obergefell, who was obviously the surviving spouse, and then Rick Hodges, who was the director of the Department of Health there in Ohio. So the procedural history of this case, there were several different cases that were out there that were consolidated all together into this one case, and they all had at their core the issue of challenging the state's rights to prohibit same-sex marriages. And after the cases were consolidated, they were heard by the Supreme Court, and in a 5-4 decision, very close decision, the Supreme Court proclaimed that states do not have the right to prohibit same-sex couples from legally marrying. And they made that decision under the 14th Amendment, which guarantees everybody to have equal protection under the laws. So the net effect of that decision was that the Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriages in all 50 states. Now, their reasoning was pretty simple. They said that everybody has a constitutional right to marry who they want, in essence, and that due process, equal protection under the law, protects every individual's fundamental right to choose who that partner or who they will marry. And the decision was simply an extension of the law that was proclaimed back in the case called Loving versus Maryland. Imagine a marital case that was called Loving. Well, that was the case from 1967, aptly named. And the Supreme Court in that case, in a 9-0 decision, unanimous decision, struck down laws that prohibited interracial marriages for basically the same reason, because people have the constitutional right to marry who they want to marry, and states don't have the right to prohibit that choice. So why is this case epic? Well, the significance is that the Supreme Court has changed the legal definition of marriage, and it allows same-sex couples to be afforded the same marital rights and benefits that were traditionally granted to heterosexual couples. And these include, divorce laws now apply. And that is where, marital property is divided equitably or fairly as opposed to being simply based upon title. Tax treatment is different. Married couples have more benefits and they have more filing options as a married couple. Inheritance laws are different. The rights to inherit and the right to not be disinherited apply in a marital relationship. And there's also evidentiary privileges, confidential communications between spouses, and you can't be forced in most states to testify against your spouse. So these were all changes that a same-sex couple could now enjoy ever since the decision in Obergefell versus Hodges. So that's the case, and that's the episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you got something to say about this, comment below. Get a discussion started, like I said. If you want to learn more about legal topics, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I love it when you share me on social media. My name's Joshua Roberts, attorney at law, and you've been watching Lawyer Up.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. Dad, get me out of this.